Let me tell you how I went from being so afraid of public reading that I was shaking to now reading over 4 pages easily every day. In short, I couldn't even read more than 4 words without having to stop due to shortness of breath or having a block. All in all, I sounded like a preschooler. If you're suffering from the same problem, I would suggest that you watch this video, which explains the habits that I use to improve my speech. How do you go about starting to read? Well, let me explain it as simply as I can. So first, you have to pick a book. And I would suggest that you pick some that you are going to read anyway, or you like to read that for fun. So maybe if you're a studious student, you would pick your textbook, for example, or for the rest of us, I would suggest something like science fiction, romance novel if you want. I'm not judging. Whatever you prefer. And for a practical example, for me, my favorite books that I started to read were the Metro trilogy. And if you like science fiction, I would also suggest that you start with those. And for an important note, try to read the whole book only aloud. Because if you read it some parts aloud and some parts in your head, I think that you would just miss out on the achievement of saying that you could now read a whole book aloud. Something that you may have thought impossible before. And let me tell you, after 2 to 3 books, I think that you won't have any problem with reading quite good alone. Although I wasn't ready to start reading in front of people because of my fear of the experience, I thought that I may as well read alone. It was a hidden endeavor at first because, as I said, I was very scared of admitting that I had a problem. So I would just sneak out to a empty room or even wake up early to read in the living room, I think it was, um, just so that no one would hear me. And I think that discipline of waking up every day to try to improve your speech is what really accelerated my progress. So at first, I thought of a method to try to track my progress, and the first thing that came to mind was a stopwatch. So I set the page count of 3 to 4 pages, and I measured how many minutes it would take me to read that one. I jotted down this information in my notes app, and I thought that less time meant improvement. That the less time you read, it was a sign of progress. No, because it was never going to work that way. Because pages can be varying lengths and word counts, and it also made me read faster and more incoherent, which isn't what I was trying to improve. I was looking to achieve a more interesting and clear style of reading, which may not be that fast, but I wasn't worried about my speed. I just wanted to be a coherent and clear reader. So by the time I scrapped that awful idea, I started going to my speech therapist, and there I would read also aloud, but I started with just the syllables of the words, then just single words, then short phrases, then sentences, then short texts, then big texts. And I would suggest that you follow that procedure also. I know it may seem beneath you to just start reading the syllables and go from there, but I felt that also. But let's just be real. If you aren't comfortable with reading whole sentences yet, just start where you feel comfortable. Just look at it as a like something you progressively overload, like in the gym. And your first exercises may just be reading syllables and words. There's nothing wrong with that, and you gotta start somewhere. So find maybe your parents' dictionary in English or your native language, and if they don't have one, then Google is your next best bet. So after you have found one, just experiment with the amount of words or syllables that you could read. Maybe start with just one page and move to two and so on. So I found that the actual way to measure your speech improvement is to see how coherent and clear you are. And to do that, your best friend is a voice recorder. More on this topic in this video. So hear how you sound and compare. And a pro tip, do not focus on trying not to be this fluent, because if you focus on that while you're reading, you are only going to get stressed and you are going to get more disfluent that way. Also, try to be mindful of different commas or other punctuation marks and stop on them and take a breath. And by doing this, I got perfectly comfortable in reading 5 pages per day, all on my lonesome. Then, after that, I understood that I couldn't just relax. I had to push my comfort zone forward. So then, I actively started trying to throw myself in different real life reading situations, and if the opportunity presented itself, I would also try to record my speech and see how I actually sound in the real world tasks that I have to do. Because no amount of reading alone is going to prepare you for facing your fears in the classroom. You have to be ready to go out into the real world and experiment. But you are going to fail the first 5-6 times. But then you only need one success, and the rest would be easy to do again and again and again. So just try to force yourself out as much as possible. Do not try to hide it, because hiding your stutter only makes it worse. And if you understood that, I think that you would find great success in your self-improvement journey. Have a nice day, friend.